Okay, on calculating areas, we have to change our coordinate system. Right now we are using, if I come to my layer here and I check on the properties of my layer, if I look at the coordinate system from my properties, you can see I am using coordinates of WGS, these geographic coordinate systems right here. Geographic coordinate systems, WGS 1984. So when you are using geographic coordinate system, you cannot calculate an area. By default, it will refuse to calculate that area. You have to convert your coordinate system to projected coordinate system. So what I will do, let me just click OK. So I want to move slowly so that you guys can follow very well from the end. Okay, so what I will do, I will come to this region of interest one, to my attributes table. You realize I don't have much yet. I have two polygons here. This one is the one I split, and the one let me stop editing. I stop dragging this cursor here. And let me say yes. Okay, so you realize you have two polygons here. The ones we have just splitted now. So if I want to calculate the area, for example, of the first polygon here, the one I have selected, what I have to do, I have to change the coordinate system for this layer here. And then once I change the coordinate system, I will just come here and add a column in the attributes table. And this column I will call it area. And then once I'm done doing that, I will just select, and you see the way the area is calculating. You guys will see the way the area is calculating. Right now you can see the area is 0. And if I go to calculate geometry, you can see now property is x coordinate of centroid. If I change this to area, you can see the area is disabled. If I change this to perimeter, you can see the perimeter is disabled. That is because of our coordinate system, which is a geographic coordinate system, WGS 1984. So if I'm able to change my coordinate system, that means I will be able to visualize my area here. You realize the area is not visible; it is 0 because I cannot see it. It is the coordinate system that is making it to be disabled. Okay. So what I will do, I will do something called okay. So I don't know. The problem is my network or what? Somebody has been trying to join this meeting and is not getting in. Okay, so let me go back to my layer and open properties. So back to coordinate system, I will change this to projected coordinate system now. These are geographic coordinate systems. So I will change them back to projected coordinate system. So I'll open the projected coordinate system, and then I want to change them from okay. So I want to change them from geographic to projected. So I will go with the UTM. You realized from our base map that this was this map right here was from Europe. So there's a way you have to, before you change your coordinate system, there's a way you have to go to confirm the UTM using the Google Earth. But I will not teach Google Earth today. I will just give you the standard way of doing UTMs for the UK. And then when we do Google Earth in our next, you realized from our guide it is in the next class. So when we do Google Earth, I will teach that during that time. Okay, so there's a way you can check the UTM, universal transverse mercator. Yeah, it is a coordinate system. It is a standard coordinate system that is used. You guys are maybe familiar with these things, maybe. So if you are not, don't worry. So let us come back to our projected coordinate system. And I will select the UTM. I will tell you why I'm going this way in our next class when we'll be doing Google Earth. Okay, so don't worry about this at this stage. So I will just go to WGS 1984, and then I can select the Northern Hemisphere because London is Northern Hemisphere, and then I will just pick this one. I will explain this again in the next class, why we picked this projected coordinate system. I will explain in the next class when we will be visualizing this coordinate system in Google Earth. So for now, I'll just pick that coordinate system, and I will not explain at this point. So just follow that path if you are following with your laptop for now. Okay, so I can now come back to my region of interest 1, and then I open my attributes table. I can come here to my area panel and now right click and now calculate geometry now. So you can see now my area is not disabled, it is enabled now. My perimeter is not disabled, it is enabled now. This is because I have changed the coordinate system of this layer. So I can just click on the area, and then you can see now it has changed to PCS. Now this is projected coordinate system. Now the geographic coordinate system has faded away. So that is what I wanted to do. And you can see the units, I can play around with the units. I can change my area to be in square meters, to be in acres, to be in hectares, to be in square decimeters, square feet. I will go with square kilometers for now because this area is a bit big. And then I will click OK. Then I will just say OK. You can see that region has been populated now with the area now. It is not 0 again. So this is 28 square kilometers. So I can do the same for this other polygon here. I can come to this and I select it, and then I come to area. I calculate geometry. I will do the same. I change this one to square kilometers, and then I say okay. So you can see now the polygon has 13 square kilometers area. So if I want to calculate, let's say the length, the perimeter. Let's start with the perimeter. So I can come here and I will just add a field. So this field, I call it perimeter. I'm adding a column actually. I want my perimeter to have some decimal places, just like this one. So if I use short integer, there will be no decimal places. So I will just pick either float or a double. Any of them will have a precision, which is a decimal place. And then I will say, okay, you can see it has created that column for perimeter. I will do the same. I will select the first one, and then I will come here and right click, calculate geometry. And then once I calculate geometry, I can change this one now to perimeter. And then maybe I want my perimeter in kilometers again. And then I say, okay, and then okay. So that field will get populated with the perimeter of that polygon. So I can do the same for the other polygon. So calculate geometry, change this one to perimeter, and then I will change this one to kilometers, and then I will say okay, and then yes there. So you can see now my perimeter now has some values right here in square kilometers. So that is how you calculate area and perimeter. So for this, we have been doing for these two shapes. This was the first polygon and this is the second polygon, okay? So let me deselect my second polygon because I can see it is selected. So I'll clear the selection from here. Okay, it is not selected now. Okay, so the next thing we will calculate is the length. So if you are to calculate the length of this river here, so how would you do that? I mean, you can just come and pick this measure tool right here, and you can measure from here, but you realize it will be very hectic because you have to be very accurate in these corners. You need to be very accurate, but it can be very hectic if you do using this measure tool. But you can do it. You can measure distance in meters. You remember we covered this tool in the previous class. And then once I start from here, I can try drawing, and you can see even if I zoom in, I may not be very accurate. You may not be very accurate when you are calculating distance in this method. So for now, I'll just close this one. I don't want to use it. So I want to teach you how to calculate length now using the same formula. So just come to attribute table, and then I will select the layer for the rivers now, because rivers are the ones which will have length because they are polylines. So I will come to rivers. I open that attributes table. You can see now my river had very many attributes. Maybe we had somewhere we had area. We didn't have area. So I will just, we didn't have length anywhere. So I can just come here and add that field for length. So I'll call it length. And then again, my length, I can use float because I want some precision in decimal points. So it has added it here. So you realize now this river has very many segments. Okay, so perhaps we can use the river which we clipped rather than this one, because the one we clipped doesn't have segments. So you guys remember we did this in the previous class. So there's a river we clipped, and then there's a river we did something called, you remember, you guys covered those geometric, we did dissolve and all that. So I'm looking for the river that we got rid of the segments. Yeah, it is right here, river dissolve. So I will use that river for now. Let me turn this one off. Okay, so I will use this river because this one does not have many segments. This is something we covered in our previous class. You can see it doesn't have even many properties yet. So we have two rivers. One is River Eli, and the other one is this one is River Eli, the one in blue, and then we have that is River Taff. So that one does not have many segments. So I want to calculate the length for these two rivers. So I will come, I will come right here, and then I add that field. I call it length. And then I will use double again for precision. So length is right there. So when I click on length, calculate geometry, and then length is not disabled because you remember we changed our coordinate system in the layer. So length is not disabled, it is very much enabled. And you can see now geographic coordinate systems are faded. Projected coordinate systems is what we are using. I want my length in meters, so I'll just select meters, then I hit OK. Then you can see now this field has been populated by the length of this river. So if you were to measure that river using the measure tool, you will get a figure that is like this, but it will not be as accurate as finding it using this formula. So I will do the same for the river early. I will just come here and I will calculate geometry, and then I will select length in meters, and then I will say okay. You can see that area is now populated with the length of that river. Okay, so that is how you measure length. That is how you measure area. That is how you calculate actually, because this is not, I didn't do the measure tool. So I just calculated using a projected coordinate system. So we were to cover the projected vector data. So we have just not covered the projected vector data yet. But part of what we have done right now is the project, because we are using a projected coordinate system. We are just reprojecting the length. We are just reprojecting the area. So what we have been doing is just reprojection. But these are tool called search tool, which is right here. So I can search project, I'm a reproject, and you realize these are tool for project data management tool. So this tool also helps in reprojecting vector data. Rather than what we were doing before, you can use this tool again. So if you want to reproject, let's say you want to reproject that feature class of river dissolve. So I can just use it as my input feature. And then if I want to save the river with this thing is not responding now. Okay. Yeah, it has responded. So if I want to use it as a tool instead, so that I can create a layer with its own attributes, I can use this one, the project tool. And then I can select the directory for saving. Maybe I can call this Reproject. We did this last time. That is why I'm not explaining a lot. Reproject river. And then I will save, and then I will say output coordinate system. This one, we went to projected system. I'm just repeating the same thing we did, but now I'm using the reproject tool. And then northern hemisphere, and then I picked this, and then I say, okay. And then you can see now the project coordinate system is here. And then I can say, okay now. So let me wait for it to finish. It's taking time. But it works the same way as what we were doing before. But this time, it only creates a layer here. Rather than working in layer river dissolve, because we have modified this layer now. This layer does not contain the original data that we had. We have modified it. So it will just add a layer, and this layer will be the layer with, you can see it is loading something. So it will be the layer now in which we will make these changes. So sometimes you may want a specific layer to make a specific change. Sometimes you don't want to mess with the original data. You just have to create a layer for the, okay. So you just have to create a layer for the data that you want to work, for the data set you want to work with. So that is where now you need to use the reproject tool. I can see we have results now. So it is right here, Reproject River. I can add it to my layer now. So it is not different from the river dissolve, the one we were editing, but now we have just added it as a layer. So I can now customize this layer, and you can see it has already calculated the length now. So it works faster. It adds a layer, you see, but it is the same. It works the same way as what we have just done previously. Okay, so that is reprojecting vector data. Data in forms of lines, polylines, and polygons. So that is what we were to cover today. We have added a base map. We have split polygons. We have calculated geometrical properties, and I have mentioned about reprojecting vector data. So the only remaining part is the part of the Google Earth, which I told you guys I will explain about it in next class, because in the next class we will use Google Earth. So that is it for this class. So that is what we want to cover. It is not anything beyond there. So unless somebody has a question, I would love to stop it and edit that for you. So I can see Ronnie. Ronnie, how are you?